Hello, people. This is Mac coming to you again on a nice day here in South Mid, I say Central West Florida, near the Tampa area. We got an overcast though, and it's a little chilly now. I guess for those who are in the northern states, I guess you kind of sent that cold weather down this way. Well, I try to be honest with people and try to tell people I've been around law enforcement a long time. And one of the things I tell people is that don't talk to the police unless you have a lawyer. I don't care how insignificant you think it is. You cannot talk your way out of it, especially if you're black in these United States. And I've told you on many occasions that racism is still alive and well. And I'm going to tell you, they're not, a police job is not to exonerate you. They are to lock you up and leave it up to the courts. And they never try to do any real investigation. They try to take the shortcuts in many cases. And the only thing, when they are doing their investigation, the only thing they're trying to do is prove your guilt. Even though they might come across information that shows you're innocent. And if you're black, they're not going to share that information with you. And this goes for the white racists there, and some of their cohorts are black. So you can't even trust them. I've had bad experiences with them. And you would think that they would have some empathy for you because they are of the same race or same color. That's not necessarily true. But what happened to Sandra Wilson, it cost her, it's a Detroit mother, it cost her a job, her dignity, and for a few days, her freedom. In June, she was visiting a gas station across the street from her apartment where she's a regular. She told Channel 7 in Detroit that she goes there sometimes before work and after work, and she usually stop in to buy coffee. But on the night in question, she was buying cigarettes. And they had a surveillance video shows her entering the gas station, and inside are two other women who would prove important to what would happen later. Whilst Sandra was waiting in line, one of the customers ahead of her is seen putting her credit card down on the counter while she talks to the clerk. Seconds later, this lady leaves the store, and she leaves her credit card on the counter. Now, Sandra can be seen on the video walking up to the counter to purchase her cigarettes, and while waiting, she noticed that the card is still there. But instead of picking it up, she follows the customer who most recently walked out of the store and said she asked her whether the card was hers. And the woman answered yes. Sandra could be seen grabbing the card and walking it out to the woman while she sat in her car. She didn't know it, but Sandra gave the card to the wrong woman, who police allege used it to buy hundreds of dollars of liquor later that night. Now, they did not allege that Sandra used the credit card. In fact, she only had it for about 15 seconds. But the following week, she started getting calls from families saying, hey, you're wanted by the police. A picture appeared on social media, on the Detroit Police 7 Precinct Twitter account. Then on the Crime News and the Instagram page. Both said she was wanted for illegally using someone else's credit card. But this kind of devastated Miss Wilson. She said, I just went to the store. And she knew she didn't steal a credit card. So she went to the 7th precinct. Now, that's the first thing she did. She went there by herself to clear her name. If when they got that all this information out about you, the first thing you should do is call your lawyer and let him go down there and turn you in. But usually when we are innocent, we don't think we didn't do anything. But that's not the way they work. Their job is to put you in a box and then try to make you get deeper and deeper, get you in that hole, and you just dig deeper and deeper where you say something, oh, I got you now. And that's exactly what was happening with Miss Wilson. Now, her interrogation was recorded, and she told the detective after she sat down, said, which is, she was told by the detective that she was the focus of the investigation, and they read her Miranda rights. But quickly, right then and there, Sandra said she wanted a lawyer. She said, I needed an attorney, she says on camera, because you are all about to hand me up on something I did not do. I don't steal, she, in a quote. She will repeat her request for a lawyer twice. The detective had Sandra read her Miranda rights aloud, initialing and then signing her name. The detective wrote at 10:54 a.m. the subject refused to make a statement and asked to speak to an attorney. But the interrogation didn't stop. It continued for another 30 minutes. And not just with one officer, a second one later joined in. And as the racist cop continued his questioning, Wilson is seen crying and growing frustrated. And I quote, she states, I don't know what y'all want me to tell y'all. I just walked into the gas station and you all took a picture of me and run my life. Now, 15 minutes after Sandra first asked for a lawyer, officer think they finally caught her. And this is what I tell you, while you're in there, you're digging a hole deeper and deeper for yourself. Until they think they got enough to, hey, we got enough here. They are trying to prove your guilt. They're not trying to exonerate you now. They ask her a question. Who did you give that card to? The officer asked, without showing Wilson the video. She replied, she said, I handed it to the man behind the counter. Gotcha. Because the video shows that she got the card. She went outside. She saw the card on the counter. She didn't pick up the card at that time. She went outside because she saw the woman walk out. She said, did you leave a credit card in? She said, yes. She came back in, got the card, and gave it to the woman. She didn't know the woman. But she was trying to do a good deed for the day. And now, why did she say that she handed it to the man behind the counter? Well, I mean, she's all confused at this point of what she did with that card, So she said, she gave it to somebody, and she said she gave it to the man behind the counter. But the officers, because they saw the video, they knew that wasn't the case, and they placed her under arrest, believing she was lying and hiding her involvement in the scheme, saying that she was in cahoots with the woman who used the credit card. But Miss Wilson's attorney, Brandon Manil, said the explanation is much more innocent because she says she gave the card to the clerk just guessing at what she would do in that situation. they take that as evidence that somehow she's in cahoots with the woman who used the card illegally. And now they refuse to show her the surveillance video of the night in question, only showing her still photos. Now, again, this was Miss Wilson's local gas station. This could have been from any day that she went to the gas station. Now, she spent the next 3 days in lockup and would later be charged with 2 felonies, facing up to 4 years in prison. She says that criminal charges cost her her job as a security guard. She put in 49 applications trying to get a job, but no one would hire her. And Channel 7 was pleading for someone to give Miss Wilson a job, because, I mean, everybody else turned their back on her. And this is what happens. You see, these police officers, they don't care about what happens to you. It's why that little feather they're trying to get on their cap. And I think that her biggest mistake was it's laudable what she was trying to do, but when you're living in a racist society like this, if that had been a white woman had gone down there, they wouldn't have, nothing would have happened. They would have said, oh, okay, thanks for your explanation. You've seen this happen a million times, how it unfolds. So anytime you get in a situation like this, make sure you get a lawyer to go down with you. Now, for 4 months, she fought to clear her name. Now, this happened in June now. In October, the case went to a jury trial where finally her nightmare came to an end. Now, Judge Paul Cusick of Wayne County 3rd Circuit Court. Now, this is a white judge. He said, "This is unbelievable to me. No trier of fact, even in the light most favorable to the prosecution, could ever think that Miss Wilson is guilty beyond a reasonable doubt." Before the case could go to the jury, Judge Cusick threw it out. He said, "This is absurd and ridiculous and wrong. And this was not a thorough investigation." Now, Sandra was acquitted nearly 2 months later, but she hardly feels like she's won. She never got a job back. Her family and friends still wonder if she did something wrong. And if you pull up social media, you'll still find those pictures labeling her a criminal. "They embarrassed me, humiliated me." And she states, "I have 49 applications and I can't get a job." She said, "That's not fair." And she's right. Now, you can hear in that video, and I'll put the link to that video in my description. You can hear the woman, this black police officer who first interviewed her. You can hear her say, "We are not trying to run your life." Well, I mean, what did they do then? Like I said, this is what we have to face day in and day out. So what's the use of us out here trying to get blacks on the police department if they're not going to be, not going to empathize with us as black people, know what we've gone through in this country with racism, with the police? And then we're going to come there. We're not going to try to be on their side to try to help them, especially in a situation like this. This woman had no no prior arrests, no prior anything with the police. That right there should have been the key for them to say, hey, maybe this was a mistake. Maybe something else happened here. It shouldn't be all the time the police to go out there and try to prove somebody's guilty. They should be out there doing police work to help the citizens. But they're not doing that, people. So let this be a lesson to us all. And I tell you, I had a friend who was in a car, and there was an altercation back and forth because someone made a left turn and the other one making a right turn, and and somebody threatened the other one. And so the person follows this person and then calls the police and said this person had a gun. But my friend was told by this same other person, by the person that called the police, that they would bust a cap in him. And he went home. And guess what? That person called the police, and they sent all these police cars there. And I tell you, his life, they locked him up for 2 days. So I'm telling you, these things can happen, and then nothing can be true about it. They don't even try to find out the real truth about what's happening. It's all about what somebody said. And they take the word of that woman. But if he had called the police before that woman, then he probably wouldn't have had a problem. And so if you get in any type of altercation or any type of situation where the police may become involved, make sure you see it looking like it's something for the police. Hit that 911 to be the first one to call. And don't go to any police station to answer any questions unless you have a lawyer with you. I'm telling you that. Now, this is Mac. I want you to hit that subscribe button, the like button, and share this video. Thanks. Talk to you soon.